Okay,
Except
folks,
when we laugh.
welcome back to the show. It's two girls
and a mic, and a mic, and a mic, and a mic.
What is this?
I'm trying to do the echo.
He's trying to be the man from Police Academy who's got all the special effects coming out of his voice.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Does it come over?
Yeah, whatever. This is Lala and that one over there who thinks she's a voice box.
look. Voice box. Idiot. I'm so sorry. All right. Hey, guys. Thank you for coming back to us. We had a bit of a hiatus, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we've missed a week. Did we miss a week?
I think we missed a week because Ace was away. He's been in South by Southwest having a fabulous time. And so we're back now. And what's on the agenda today?
Before I do that, let me shout out to our last guest that we had, Mr. Rants and Bants. That show went down really, really well. Had a few people message me to say they have actually listened to it several times because they enjoyed it so much.
Oh, wow.
So, wow. I'm just like, okay, Rants, so maybe you get another invitation then if that's the case. So, thanks again. So, if you guys want to listen to it, you can listen to it, not just on our SoundCloud, but not just on iTunes. We now have a YouTube page. Yes, we do. So, if you want to listen to it on YouTube, you can now do that. You just need to go in the search box and literally type in two girls and a mic. And
the number two. Is it the
number two? Yeah, not the actual word. Number two and a mic. You'll see the logo and everything. You won't see our faces yet because we haven't done proper photos yet. But the minute we do, you'll see our airbrush selves up there looking glorious. But yeah, no, definitely listen to that show. And we'll post some throwback shows as well from previous.
Remember when I was stuck on show number 5?
Oh my God.
I was stuck on it for so long.
This time.
Was it the one that I sounded good on? I was like...
show 26. And
you were definitely...
like, yeah, I'm still on show... What?
No, but I was like, but I sound really good on show 5.
What? Just move on.
Was it show 9? I just know there was one that I was like, I'm going to keep listening to this
man.
because I sound like I'm making some sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So please do check those out. And please do leave comments and everything because as much as this is our show, it's your show as well. We want to hear what you have to say so we can give you shout outs and we can maybe take in your suggestions to make the show bigger, better and greater. So so that's what we want to do.
Nothing abusive though.
Yeah, no, because we listen, the block button is my friend. So if you think you're bad, try me because I got time.
But you can always get in my DMs and say
no.
Things.
Oh my God.
No, my DMs.
Oh,
you know my DMs are like so dead.
You're opening up a whole Pandora's box.
You say that, but I just remember this is the dead DM person.
Opening a whole Pandora's box because when you say you want it, you'll be like, all right, show you something real special.
My DMs are so like. I swear, sometimes I'm thinking, is my DM box broken or something? Like, no one DMs me. Everything goes down in the DM. Not in mine. I'm so upset about it. It's still a big thing for me. If anyone wants to DM me and just be like, slightly frivolous, I'd just be like, oh my God, it's happened. I've had some mess in my DMs. Anyhow.
So anyway, let's start off with our topics for today. So I wanted to talk about a recent interview that Cardi B gave with Cosmo magazine in where she talks about the Me Too movement, hashtag Me Too. And she said it really doesn't care about, women in hip hop, women who work in the sex industry, women who maybe come from a lower economic background. She's like, a lot of the video vixens have spoke about this and nobody gives a F. The brash rapper begins. She used to say when she was trying to be a vixen, people were like, you want to be on the cover of this magazine, then they pull out their dicks, then they pull their dicks out. I bet if one of these women stands up and talks about it, people are going to say, so what? You're a hoe anyway, so it doesn't matter. So basically, do you agree? Is the Me Too movement quite selective in the stories that they want to represent under the Me Too hashtag?
No, I don't think so. I think her comments are... They're not completely unfounded, but I think they are. I think her saying, when she was trying to be a vixen, somebody, if that's an example that she's given, somebody pulls their dick out and X, Y, and Z. But Cardi, so that's your story. So hashtag Me Too, get on board. You speak out. You've got a platform now. So she's just, in that interview, she sounds like she's talking about what would happen if she talks about it instead of just talking about it, whilst the movement is there. So that's why I can't really say that her statement is founded, but it may be that, in fairness to her, I can't necessarily say it's completely unfounded, in the sense that what we do know is that before Me Too in its current format and its current resurgence, obviously there were women in a very, a wide number of industries, and let me say men as well, in certain industries, and they were being abused, harassed, touched inappropriately, spoken to inappropriately, having their careers kind of manipulated to a sense, or having themselves manipulated, or their career goals manipulated alongside, sexual demands and things like that. And they probably were speaking out and nobody was listening to them, or nobody was taking an account of them. But what happens is sometimes there's a cultural shift, and sometimes there's a micro-cultural shift, and sometimes there's a macro-cultural shift. And even if #MeToo, the movement, is a micro-cultural shift, the way it gets bigger is by people talking about it more and more, and not talking about it. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is, if she has a story to tell, she now has a platform. That interview, she could have gone whole hog and told the story, rather than talking about, if this gets said, it's just going to be you're a hoe too. Like, you've got a number of women now, and albeit they may fall into a sort of particular socio-economic background, but you have a number of women now who are being very vociferous, very outspoken about it. And it's not even a bandwagon thing. Like, there's power in numbers, there's volume in numbers. So if you've got a story to say about it, and you really want to get that story out, then talk about it. There's people who don't want to talk about it because they just don't want to talk about it. They can't face it. They want to put it behind them, and that's something different. But if Cardi B wants to talk about it, talk about it. Don't talk about talking about it.
Just say something.
Yeah, just say something now.
Because maybe, like, her talking about it might inspire somebody who is, who does work in the sex industry, or is a video vixen, to be like, actually,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we know because we discussed Haiti on this show, and the charity workers going out there and abusing people. And it is abuse. If you're taking advantage of someone who's in a position of need or in a position of trust you, then that's abuse. So we've spoken about sex workers in or apparent sex workers in that sphere, because I still don't truly believe it was just sex workers. But we also know that the sex working industry is a dangerous industry, and it really doesn't take much or a big leap of the imagination to imagine, in an industry where sex workers are routinely vilified and looked down on anyway, criminalized if they're not working within a particular methods, and so they don't have the protection of society or the state in most cases, in a lot of cases. And so it doesn't take much to the imagination to know that there will be some horror stories in there. But with that knowledge, I don't think now is really the time. I think it's kind of counterproductive to say, when they spoke up, we didn't do anything. Like, let's seize the moment now, because it is a moment to be seized. And I think there are really brave people out there, brave women out there, who are talking to and speaking up for women at all levels. So whilst it might seem like, when Oprah does her big speech, and I thought that was a fantastic speech that she did, and all the rest of it, at, these big swanky events, and women are turning up wearing a particular colour that might seem like, maybe for some woman that's in a position where, she's being pimped out by someone, she might see that on the TV and think, that's of no help to me.
because those women might, maybe to her they're considered different.
Yeah.
Like, they're not from our world.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't see those women every day on the street. Like, there's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that
it. But
might be
I think then we need to take advantage of the filter and the trickle effect, because Oprah's not in my social circle either. Even though the speech resonated with me, I still then have to look downwards and side to side and see who's around me to say, look, what's happening with them? Who's speaking up for them? Can I maybe be the voice for them and link it to what's going on now? Because people are aware of it from Oprah. So let me now speak about it on my level and show them, look, this is exactly the same issue. And so this deserves some light as well. And that's what takes me back to the point of Cardi. I get what she's saying, but I would have, my response to her, I guess, is like, don't talk about it, be about it. Because you've got a platform now, Cardi B. But loads of people know your name now. If you're being, did you say it was Cosmo magazine?
Yeah.
Cosmo are interviewing you. Girl, speak about it.
I know that Amber Rose was kind of saying more or less the same thing very recently. I don't know, I think her brand of feminism,
Amber's,
kind of troubles me a little bit, simply because I feel like it's quite insular, and I feel like it's quite more about Amber than it is about the bigger picture.
I don't necessarily know if I even link what I understand Amber to stand for is a woman's own agency.
Yeah,
that's like distilling it down to all this slut walk, this, that. We don't call men hoes if they do exactly the same thing that a woman's done, whatever. What she's basically saying is a woman should be able to do what she wants. That's all very well and good, but I don't know if that necessarily is what we're talking about in terms of Me Too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I see why a lot of people think that Amber's just about Amber, but I think she's trying to, where the two kind of like maybe skim close to each other is that, specifically talking about entertainment, women are used as, are kind of like demeaned through music, through the language, the culture in those kind of circles. And it's often sexually demeaned, which then perhaps allows for the same atmosphere and environment in which women can be abused and oppressed and treated badly, and not feel able to speak out, because what are you speaking out for when actually you're just seen as and that, I guess
you dress in a scantily clad way, so therefore you're inviting that type of behavior to yourself, blah, blah, blah. So I understand fully that part of Amber's slut walk, and I understand why she's doing it. Sometimes I feel like, for me personally, I don't like the word slut. I don't feel empowered by it.
No,
and I don't. And it's, all of these kind of derogatory terms that, people feel like we should take it on because it takes the power of the word. No, it doesn't. Because for me, if you're going to call me that, I'm going to fight you. That's it.
Right?
I'm going to fight you. Same thing with the N words and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. I support her right to feel the way that she wants to feel about that. That's it. But for me, in that regard, I don't feel part of that movement, because I don't want to associate with something that I just see as negative. And I'm not talking about the movement, I'm talking about the words that she's kind of embracing. I don't want to embrace that. I'm very much like, I want to embrace certain things that we should be embracing, but for some reason we tend to gravitate towards the negative of it and try to internalize that, when I'm like, well, actually there's so many other alternatives that we can call ourselves queens. This could be the queen walk, or it's something that kind of exhibits how I feel about being a woman. Like, I don't see us as sluts. Even if you're sexually liberated person, you're not a slut to me. You're just someone who enjoys sex, and we all do. So I'm not going to celebrate that by saying, yeah, girl, you're a slut, you a bitch, you a hoe, you this, all this negative, this is stupidness to me. I'm not going to do that. I just think you're a queen. We're all queens. Let's do that. But
it'd be great when we get to a place as well where we stop kind of talking about what people do in what is supposed to be a private
Right, exactly. And
situation,
that's my thing, is
sex
like,
and sexuality.
sex is sex. Like, if you want to go out and do, well, as long as it's safe,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not going to celebrate in a way that I find quite demeaning. Like, all of these terms, I'm sorry, I can't celebrate that. But I support your right to feel how exactly you want to feel about it.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Just because you work in a certain industry, you should not be disrespected. At the end of the day, this is work. This is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
And, you know, the personal stuff shouldn't clash, and you certainly shouldn't be degraded because of it. You know, so there's a little bit of a balance there. So again, I understand where Cardi is coming from with that, but I totally agree with you. If you want to say something, Cardi, now is the best time for you to say something. Be like, you know what?
Because you got a spotlight
Let me hijack this, because there's girls, as she said, I'm sure she's completely right, you know, about the girls that work in maybe the strip clubs and everything, who probably get disrespected in some of the worst way. If you could be that kind of beacon that says, there's some nonsense going on backstage in these clubs that you lot don't know about, and I want to shine a light on it, because these are young girls or women who are in certain positions, and because they're in certain positions, they're being taken advantage of, and they're being demeaned and, you know, talked about in the worst possible way. And I want to stop all of that. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to grab this Me Too hashtag, and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to shine a light on them. Do that.
Put it in your music. Do anything. But, you know, it's complicated and it's layered, because as I just said, like, put it in your music. A lot of her music, and this is not even a slight or anything, it's like, because I jam to some of her tunes, well, some of her verses, shall I say, but like, a lot of her music may have an edge about, like, you know, what is it,
Which one?
I turn offset on something in motorsport.
There's quite a few
it's like,
things,
so when you want to talk about sexualized stuff, which some people might say, oh, it's like, oh, like, you know, going there, are we? You're okay with that. So the same bravery with which you speak about that subject, you could actually speak about this subject. You can do it. You're supposed to be an artist. You can do it in a artistic way. You have that agency, so
creative license to just go in and be like, look, this is the life that I'm telling you all about, and that is actually the very essence of hip hop, telling stories that happen within our environment. You know, hip hop heads like to talk about, oh, be the truth, gotta be the truth, gotta speak the truth. Then that's what it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So again, and that comes back to maybe her not understanding her position. Like, you don't need to be in Cosmo talking about what hasn't happened for people around you. You are now elevated to a position, Cardi, so you need to talk about what should be happening for the people that you know and you understand, and just be using them platforms. Cosmo magazine, do you know what I mean?
Because Cosmo ain't going to do it for you, I'll tell you that much.
That's
so
it.
you got to use these platforms to your advantage and to what you want to
get out there.
You've got to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So let's move on from Cardi and the whole Me Too movement. Let's go on to... this story stressed me out this week.
Go on.
TV presenter Anthony McPartlin, one half of Ant and Dec, who have been presenting since it would seem the you know,
the dark ages.
Yeah. and I shouldn't laugh because this is a serious matter. He was arrested. And I think he's been charged as well. I think he was charged today for drink driving. Okay. He was driving in his Mini, I believe, and he crashed into another car. The other car had a family, including a 3-year-old. Cars involved. Yeah, including a 3-year-old girl. And he failed a breathalyzer test, and because he failed that, they then had to arrest him. I think they charged him today. And there's just been all kinds of nonsense going on. One nonsense I'd like to point out is that I've noticed that the press, who would normally kind of jump all over a story like this and just batter the person involved to death, have been really quite... They've gone easy on him. I've never seen anything like it. I'm like, wow. And then,
Look at my face. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that Ant is a horrible person. I understand that alcoholism and all of that is a disease and blah, blah, blah. But I will say this again. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Wow.
Do you know what? I heard people. So I heard about the story, and like, just as an aside, I've just been like so busy that I haven't really dug into. So things will pass my consciousness, but I don't really dig into it and like get the full SP just because I'm like doing other stuff. So I'd seen part of a couple of threads on a couple of social media pages, people saying that the media stroke press were going like really easy on him. And it's only I'd say today, when I was kind of like had a bit of downtime and I was really kind of like going back on like some of the recent news stories, I just thought to I saw it.
Yeah.
Yo, weird.
So, you know when somebody just literally brushes over it like...
You were in a car as, you know, well known and as old as you are, so as responsible as you should be. I think he was with his mum or something.
Yeah.
And you're driving over the limit, like, seriously, and you're such a well-known face. And I'm just thinking, usually, if that had been Skepta.
Skepta, your career.
I didn't even mean
finished.
Skepta. You know, I didn't even mean Skepta. I said Skepta. Maybe he's on my mind. Don't worry, babe. I'll be home soon. I meant Stormzy.
Oh, listen, the way that the Daily Mail have been gunning for that one,
That's
can
why
you imagine?
I actually meant him.
He would have been, yes, you see, because you should have been grateful to us.
Probably
when we told
high,
you.
probably high on skunk and
All
definitely
that stuff
over
he
the limit.
speaks about in his lyrics. He had about 10 weeds the night before and he was drinking and he was... I'm just like...
They would have finished him.
Do you know what's interesting? I read on, I think it was the Telegraph, I think they actually spoke to the family, and then you get to read the story from the family who he injured. Yeah. And the dad who was driving the car basically said when he got out of the car, he wanted to kill him simply because he was coming. This is his story. He was coming around the it's like a turning, coming around the turning.
I think it was in Richmond or something.
Yeah,
right?
breakneck speed, doing like 50, 60 miles an hour. And had the dad not had the sense to kind of turn his car, because obviously reflexes kick and just turn his car, he said it would have been a lot worse. He could have potentially killed everyone in that car. But had he not turned, because I don't know if you saw the video of the car, the damage on the car. The car was...
Is that Ant's car or the...
Ant's car. It was mash up. The whole of the side was like literally just caved in. Yeah, and then there's another video filming Ant getting out the car. He looks still out of his mind. He's still the drink is very much still in his system.
If it's just drink, because let me say,
you know how this industry rolls.
I was in... I can't remember when it was. Maximum a few weeks ago, maximum, right? And I happened to be in, because you know I've been having a pop and social life recently. But it happened to be that one Saturday I was in, and we were watching. Well, not watching, but it was on the Saturday night thing with them, and I started paying attention to it, and I turned to the person that I was with, and I was like, this dude is still on drugs. No lie, just a few weeks ago. And then I said, they were like, huh? I was like, nah, look. And then, so I'm making them watch it, and then I'm pointing out, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. So I'm watching him like this, like fidgeting, like trying to look normal. He doesn't know what to do with his hands. His eyes just looked just kind of like just dead behind it. He's got on a big, you know, smile, a TV smile, but nothing going on in the eyes. He, I found like he was quite jittery in his movements. And you know what else I also perceived? I perceived that Deck, his entertainment partner, was at a number of times very, very uncomfortable, and his eyes kept darting over to him, and he looked really uncomfortable about like, almost like on edge, like, oh, I hope we can get to the end of the show. In one piece. That's what I was reading. Yeah. And I said it, I called it, A couple of weeks later now, look at this.
It's funny because my mum said something similar when we were watching the news in the aftermath of this, and you know when they show clips from shows that they've done like back in the day and everything. So I think they showed a clip from when they were co-hosting the Saturday night. What's it called? What's the show called?
I don't know.
Is it Saturday Night Live?
Takeaway. Is it Saturday
Night Takeaway? Oh, just instantly she's like, even there he looks drunk, and
It was
because he was
that.
he's unshaven. He just
drawn in his face.
And I'm not a regular watcher of that show. I think I maybe watched it twice. In my life.
Ditto.
And
but it stood out to me.
Yeah, and I was like, he does look like a wreck as well. I think the reason why he gets away with it so much, I would say, is because he's actually got quite a baby face, and so is the other one as well. So they look quite young. So maybe that kind of with a bit of makeup for those who aren't like paying attention, just think that's normal.
It was more his movements,
Yeah.
and he just didn't look his usual. He didn't have the easy moves of his usual self, so he looked quite jittery and jaunty. And I particularly noticed he kept shifting his weight. He didn't know where to put his hands in particular. His smile was, like I said, it was extra there, but in the eyes, nothing. And I called it and I said, whoa, like it was. And the more I was watching, you know, when you're just like, oh my gosh, like, look, can you not, like, I was just calling it out. And then a few weeks later, this. And, the I'm going to say sad for the moment until we know the facts behind it. But the sad part of it is that you got so much money. These boys are loaded. Take time for yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to come back, which in my view you clearly couldn't have been, if this is happening and what I've seen of you on screen, take time for yourself.
No, I agree.
It's not every day jumping up Ant and Dec and Ants. Some days.
Yeah, because they've been at it since the dawn of time. And I'm like,
I even have problems with that though, you know.
Yeah, I do and I don't. I understand fully, like, as if it was me and people were giving me jobs left, right and centre and they would had loads of zeros at the end of that check, of course I'm going to take it.
You wouldn't know.
But
you wouldn't.
I
You know what?
probably would.
No, let me tell you your personality. You'd bring some kids through. You'd do that. You would.
But I can understand why somebody see those zeros and be like, I'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Okay.
But agreed with you, like, because I'm very much like, okay, who have we got next? Let's bring the next generation through. And I think ITV, to me, are guilty of not doing that at all, because they've hung on to Ant and Dec and several other
loads of people
who've just been on TV for
you
forever.
would think that there's nobody else that exists
I would
out
say
there.
the only person who I kind of rate, who could have done like an Ant and Dec and just kept taking jobs and jobs and jobs, is Dermot O'Leary. Do you remember Dermot was doing X Factor? He could probably done that until Simon Cowell said, I'm not doing X Factor anymore. Everybody go about your business.
Cushy job as
yeah,
well.
and it was a cushy job. He was just like, oh, do you know what? I'm out. And that's, to me, that's how you should do it. Like, kind of don't long it out so much to the point where you drain yourself out, or people just have had enough of you.
Yeah.
The
thing I always
and there's always and I always, sorry to cut you, I always find that if you've been doing it for so long, at this point in your life, you should be like, I can actually do things now for other people. I can build my own company, or I can do this, I can do that.
Oh no, they have their own production companies. That's how they get more and more minted. But the thing I really do wonder, and it's a genuine, like, ongoing thought. Have they, like, set up any schemes to get other young people from their,
but that's what I mean,
Newcastle backgrounds,
there's production companies, but
have you got young kids coming through to take over?
Well, who can I say that, Ant and Dec are responsible for this and this?
That's why I find them problematic.
So they've been 20 years in the game, shall we say? And that's you've just been collecting checks, and that's it. To the point where you've now got an alcohol addiction, it would seem.
And then if you and Dec go, because apparently you guys always used to say, oh, we're not going to do it without each other. So if you got to take some time off, and then Dec has to sit down for a while to wait for you, who else have we got? I say we, like I give a shit. Like, who else have we got?
Ricky and Melvin. Thank
Thank you.
That's all we got.
I bet Ricky and Melvin's in the back there.
Listen, there's in it. But even if we go to the internet, look at the amount of shows that people create out of nothing, and there's some proper talent on there.
Yeah.
If ITV were really about that life, they would go in and be like, you know what? This has got X amount of million views. That's got X amount. These two are amazing. That girl's amazing. That guy's amazing. Let's get. No, but you're lazy. You want to ride a wave rather than creating one. And actually, waves are created every day. You just don't want to do the research into pulling out new talent and giving them a platform so that they can be like, oh, this is the new Ant and Dec, or this is the new Davina McCall, or this is the new. Do you know what I mean?
Holly Willoughby.
They've got the power to do it, and I don't understand why. It's really bizarre to me, and it's just like,
you know what? But entertainment is a risk averse industry anyway.
It is.
I learned that
Very much
entertainment
so.
is very risk averse. So they want to hold on to their sure things, and the only time they'll replace it is with another sure thing, or B, a cookie cutter of the previous.
Well, I
sure
heard
thing.
that obviously Dec is going to do the Saturday night takeaway this coming Saturday, because initially they were going to scrap the next two shows because of this. And apparently the story is they're going to get that girl from, what's she on Gogglebox, and she's from...
the Geordie one.
Yeah. Apparently they want her to step in to...
I've seen her do a couple of bits, so maybe they're priming her.
So
to
maybe
be the
she
next.
might, she could potentially do it, but I think she's in hot water now because apparently she did one of them fitness DVDs. And she obviously lost a lot of weight, did the DVD. Now she's since put on all of the weight back, a large chunk of it anyway. And I think she's in trouble now by the production company, because they get these people to do these weight loss DVDs. You sign a contract that says you have to keep the weight off for a year. And if you don't, then you've got to pay a said amount of money to the production company, because...
You're kind of undermining what they're
so one of the well-known trainers that helps these celebrities get into shape, he basically let the cat out the bag and said that they go to these boot camps, they run like something like 500 calories a day just so they can shed the weight, blah blah blah. So this might be a way.
It's a fraud.
Yeah, so basically it's a fraud. So he was just letting out all the tea out of, just spilling everything. And so they're potentially going to push her forward. So I don't know how much that's going to hurt her chances of getting on the show, because ITV might not want another scandal attached to them. But she seems like, I've seen her in a couple of shows where she's, presented a few things. And she's new. So we'll see. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, do you think he should lose his job over this?
I think if he's sensible, he'll just step back for a bit. Because has he got our ITV? You see, this is it. Are ITV really his employers, or is he?
Think so.
Do they contract his services in the sense that he's probably? Do you see what I mean? It's not so cut and dried.
Maybe it could be that he's employed via maybe one of his production companies.
It will be that. That's what I'm saying. So then it's the question of, so it's not like we're gonna sack you, but then it's ITV. Are ITV gonna be bold, one might say, and sever ties, much like any brand might sever ties with someone who I guess
it depends on how much money they
is riding on it.
That could be seen, and they deem is worth losing, shall we say? Because it's all about
and how much and what they can, and what each party's side can spin out of it, and they'll test the public mood, and they'll think about, do they have to get rid of him? There'll be at pains not to.
This is what I think will potentially happen. I think he'll have a break for about 6 months, and then he'll come back
on Piers' life stories.
Or he'll do like a documentary about alcoholism and depression, or whatever it is that is troubling him right now. And then people will be like, oh my God, he's a really nice guy. Yeah, because, I understand this because I had this addiction and blah, 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 blah. So they'll do that whole thing, and he'll be fine again. Like he's a straight white male who, has a certain amount of privilege that unfortunately somebody like Reggie Yates didn't have. So, when he said something about a certain somebody, he lost the job, and that was the end of that.
He didn't even say it about a specific somebody though, did he?
No,
he just made an observation.
He made an observation about something that, happens
in the music
in
industry
music,
or something.
and
He made
The
it
Daily Mail caught wind of that, and soon after that, now Reggie doesn't have a job.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize he'd lost. Oh yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah. I think we discussed it.
So, it's interesting. Like I said, wow, because I was expecting all kinds of things for him to like lose. Maybe, this sponsorship, this brand's going to let him. I haven't seen none of that.
But has he got all of that? That's the thing I don't understand. Does he have all of that? I think he may just be, he and Deck are the commodity. He and Deck are the brands.
They're the brands.
I don't think they have brands necessarily connected to them. He and Deck are the brand, the clean cut, cheeky chappies, a little bit of schoolboy humor, that sort of thing. And he may have tarnished his own brand because of this. So it's going to be his people, his team are probably going to be working overtime trying to patch the brand up. And that will be trying to keep those people who he contracts out his brand to ITV and the other, to stay with him. So that's gonna be the real.
I'm telling you, my 6 months plan is
thing.
exactly what's gonna happen.
I feel that as soon as you said interview, I thought, Piers' life story, sit down, looking really intimate.
Piers is like proper defending him on G, because I've known him for about 20 years, and people. I think one of the issues is that people keep babying him because he's been a teen star since Biker Grove, and he hasn't really had the chance to grow out of that. And I was looking at Piers like, Piers, if this was anybody else right now,
he hasn't
you'd
had the
be
chance to
chewing
grow out of
them
what?
up.
He's had the chance to grow. No one's been. What do they mean, baby?
He's 42.
Like, come on, seriously. And I'm not even saying, I'm not even looking at what he's done in this instance, like the accident. I'm just looking at that as a statement. Like he's been come on, Piers. Sometimes it's just too transparent.
It is.
Sometimes
Sometimes
the favor.
Wow. Like hardly anyone has spoken about the family who are the victims in all of this. Can you imagine being out with your husband?
I don't want to imagine.
And your child and some
is.
idiot.
God forbid.
Shazza? Do you know how much video footage there would be
and
of
then
me
you come out and then you see
battering
staggering about.
Listen,
girl,
it'd be horrible. It would be horrible. I did also read that there was a witness that said that as the police were giving him the breathalyzer test, he was like, he was being belligerent to them as well. So all of a sudden, when you brought up the Stormzy scenario, I was like, let Stormzy start talking to the police about, I'm not doing no tests. I'm not doing.
Can't even laugh. It's true.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. People like to talk about how everybody's got privilege. Yes, everybody does have privilege, but I bet you, if you could get white privilege, you will trade in whatever privilege you have for that, because that's the difference between life and death. It really is. But you know what? I'm sure it'll be fine in 6 months.
Out, right?
Anyway, let us move on to fun things. Have you been watching any reality TV? You better say yes, Shazza, because I'm going to be really annoyed.
I tell you
because
what,
the things have been popping off.
All right, I'll tell you the bits that I have caught up on.
Yeah.
Married to Medicine.
Yeah, good girl.
And I think that Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay, cool. Two. Did you watch Love and Hip Hop Miami Reunion?
No, because I don't really like Love and Hip Hop Miami.
Okay, cool.
Is that the one with Trina?
Yeah.
No, I just felt like
you're the baddest bitch. Yeah, it hasn't been. I think it kind of disappointed, because I remember when it first started and the trailers came out, it looked kind of exciting and everything, totally different to all the other, cities and everything. Because it's Miami, innit? So like mi caliente. So I was thinking, yeah, it's gonna be good, but. Kind of let me down. Definitely the breakout star is Amara Negra. She performed at the end of it.
Oh, did she?
She looks. I've actually bought the single.
Is it?
Actually, can I just say? I should work in A&R, yeah, because she posted video footage of her doing this single that she's got out now in the studio, right? And she only did like a little 30-second clip. I posted that on our Instagram page ages ago, and I said this tune is going to go.
And is that what she's released?
Yes.
Is it called Insecure?
It is called Insecure.
Right. Okay. So I've seen like shots maybe of
Yeah.
it, but I haven't listened to
It's
it.
amazing. It's kind of like a Latin salsa reggae
Is it?
kind of vibe. Does that make me insecure?
Oh, definitely. I want to listen to it. I want to
It's
listen to
banging.
it.
So, and also I have to shout out the soca community because there's a soca producer that's on there.
Is
and
it?
He has a song that I love to death. That
On
I
her
bought.
album.
He wrote this and produced
Oh,
this song.
wow. Okay.
Actually, I don't know if he wrote. He definitely produced it, but I need to remember the man's name. But yeah, so he produced the song, and she was in his studio recording it, and I posted that on our Instagram page ages ago, and I said this song's gonna go off,
Big tune.
and it did. So she was definitely the breakout star of that. Bun Veronica Vega, aka Rachel Dolezal, because that girl actually sat on the couch.
Is that the one that was asking her to take off your wig? We want to see
Yeah.
your hair. I
This
saw
one,
that
you got a
episode.
barefaced cheek, girl. You sit. Nobody is born with peroxide blonde hair growing
what
out of
I'm
their
saying.
scalp. How dare you? How dare you? She's like
But we
one of
know
them
what that is when we see
fake
it.
friends. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and it was funny because Nina asked her about her relationship with Young Hollywood, and she was saying,
Whose relationship? Hers or
Veronica
oh,
Vega,
right.
because she was saying, if you knew that Amara, your friend, doesn't like this person, why would you then bring him to an event? Oh, I didn't realize how serious it was between the two of them. Blah blah blah.
You're not
blah
a friend.
blah. You're not a friend. And also, she told you what the problem was. And you were like, oh, okay, blah. And the minute you thought that this guy liked you in some sort of way, because she actually said, oh, I was just.
Wasn't Amara even crying when she told her?
Yeah,
this
she was.
story?
She was really angry. She was like, look, I was just with him because I was finessing him. So you were a hoe. Because that's what finesse means to me, is like you trying to get something out of him.
Please.
So you fucking for tracks now.
What was she gonna get out of this? Who is this young Hollywood anyway?
He's
Who,
just nobody
really?
knows.
That's
Like,
why I couldn't really get into the program, because all the characters were just like.
it's just weird. It's like you said really offensive things to her, and even God bless Juju. Like, she really had to school him because it
Was
like,
Juju on it as
yeah,
well?
Yeah, because her and Amara are friends, and obviously she's Afro-Latina as well. So she was like, look, my friend,
I wish they would just call it African Latina. Can I just say it? Because I used to hate the term Afro-Caribbean as well.
Then I think that's why people get
Afros.
confused, because they're like, well, you're Afro, you don't have an Afro, so therefore how can you call yourself Afro-Latina or Afro-Latino? And I had the similar conversation with my friend who's from the States as well. So he was like, I don't understand. And he was relating it to hair. I was like, it's not about hair. It's just short for African.
Yeah, they should call it Afri or African Latino, like African American or African.
He was like, yeah, but I don't understand. Like, if you're going to be so, Afro-Latino or, whatever the case may be, then, you should just have your hair just out. Because what I was saying to him is that she has her hair is natural. She has a natural afro. But the reason why it's so big is because she's added more extensions to it. And he was like, yeah, but that's fake. And I'm like, yeah, but so I was like, I'm sitting here with my wig on my head. My cousin was with us as well. She's got weaving. Are we not black anymore because we've got weaves? I don't understand it.
Make sense.
It's like
what
you need,
he said.
yeah, and I think a lot of people confuse it with
The
hair.
hairstyle.
It's like, if I shave my hair tomorrow, I'm still black. If she shaves her afro off tomorrow, she's still Afro-Latina. That's the point. The point is, it's about their lineage and about the fact that she, like everybody else in the Caribbean and in North America and in South America, it's just a bunch of black slaves that were taken from Africa and dumped all over there, and they were mixed up. The only difference is between myself and maybe Amara La Negra is that my African ancestors were mixed with either the British, and I think some Spanish actually landed in Jamaica as well, because that's why you got places like Ocho Rios and everything. But it was predominantly dominated by the Brits. Hence why I've got a bloody, very English surname. And her family, were probably mixed with the Spanish instead, and that's all it is. I don't understand why people don't understand that. And you can understand.
I get why
that
Americans don't get it, because I
It's
find
like, don't wanna
Americans
do
are basic anyway.
He is, and he was sitting there,
Sorry to be so.
my mum's, not my friend, but Young Hollywood was like saying, my mum's black. No, my dad's black and my mum's white. So why didn't your dad explain that to you? And then you would know what the issue is. And you're sitting there with,
I was
Rachel
gonna make a comment,
Dolezal,
but I can't even
who had the
comment.
barefaced cheek to turn around and tell people that she's black. But you can be black.
Who, that Veronica one?
Yes. Because I think in one episode, Trina asked her, why does she keep using the N-word, and that people had a problem with it. And she kind of related blackness to her being poor. Oh, I grew up in a certain area in Miami. We all say end this and end that. She was aggravating. If you know, the best bit about the whole reunion was the people in the audience. One woman was like, her face was so screwed up. Like, what are you talking about? Do you know how oh, my great-great-grandmother, she was black. What?
But Amara's not.
But Amara can't be.
So that's a tan that Amara's got on his shoe polish.
Everyone's just looking at her like, and I was disappointed in Trina's answer when, you know, the presenter asked her about it.
About
and
what?
She was like, you know, well, she grew up in Hialeah, which is a place in Miami where I guess, you know, there's a lot of poor people there, and they all speak like that. You know, I've been to Japan and they speak like that. So what's that got to do with anything? Using the N-word. What's that got to do with anything? She's still white. Just the level of confusion. So Juju kind of just like summed it all up and said, you know, just gave a backstory and everything and just told him about himself. And Amara was just like, I don't care who's got a problem with me claiming my Africanness. I'm going to say it until the day that I die.
But what else would she claim? Look at her. To me, she's a black woman. I don't understand what's wrong with these people.
And it's like clear as day. And you're like, I'm so confused. And what are you confused about? But you speak Spanish. Oh, Ma, you know, you speak Spanish. You're you know, what did he say? He said something about you speak Spanish. But he said you're Spanish though, because you're speaking Spanish. And I said, even that, you're confused. She's not Spanish. Spain is in Europe.
Oh,
okay. I speak Spanish because the Spaniards invaded the Dominican Republic, which is where I'm from.
Why can't somebody knock some sense into that man? They shouldn't give him a platform.
They're not.
They shouldn't give him a platform.
Asking for Mona not to
they shouldn't bring him back.
The level of stupidness is too much.
It's disgusting, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, you're a grown. Like, Google is your friend. You could have like gotten over this so easily if you just thought, let me do a little bit of research. Let me just look into this.
Open a book.
So his whole thing is like, oh, she only jumped on this when she kind of saw that people were like feeling sorry for her.
The way
nothing to do with the fact that you called her the Nutella Queen and that you compared her afro to Macy Gray. She needs to be more like Beyonce, less like Macy Gray. And it's funny that you would use those two women as an example when both of them have a net worth that I'm sure is higher than yours. Macy Gray, I'm sure you're using her as an example to say you don't want to look like her. However, Macy Gray has a healthy career in you know, in music and in the arts. Like I'm pretty sure if we were to put your plaudits next to her plaudits, she would body you. Exactly. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But anyway, Amara looked amazing at the end of it. She performed her track. She had on this amazing yellow outfit. The thighs, Cheryl. The thighs on it. Thighs for days. And when you're seeing the whole audience swaying and rocking and being like, does that make me? I was like, yeah, she's got a hit.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
my
I'm definitely gonna check
I'm watching
that out.
what's the name of that rapper that's on it that makes me laugh? Not Trick Daddy, the other one. Ace, do you remember his name? The Gunplay. He's on the show.
He looks a mess.
Gunplay was like, yes.
Oh, he looks an absolute mess.
He looked really good on the reunion, actually. I have to give him props because apparently he went to rehab. He cleaned up way better than he did because in the show he looked an absolute state. So I'm glad that they fixed himself up. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole reunion. They kind of dominated the whole thing as they did throughout the show. So that was that. So let's move on to Married to Medicine, the reunion. We need to discuss Quad and Dr. G.
They should just go their separate ways. So the contempt is palpable.
Exhausting watching them two go at it because it's like,
I actually predicted
Quad, that this was going to happen anyway.
I don't believe Quad. I just feel like I don't believe that her thing with him is that she doesn't feel appreciated. I think that Quad, unfortunately, I now buy into what Mariah said about her, that she's just on a come up. So
really?
she's a social climber in that sense. So I think she wanted to marry Dr. G so that she could be married to a doctor and she could have all the benefits that come with that. I think she's kind of like had that. She's got to a certain kind of level for herself in terms of celebrity and fame and well-knownness, if I can put it like that. And now she's ready to bounce.
bounced onto who though? This is the thing. If
Do
you're
you
a social
I think
climber,
I think the world's gonna be her oyster now, because what she really wanted is not. It's not about bouncing onto another person. It's about the platform that she's got now. If she were to
Right.
divorce Dr. G, she's gonna get some dough. What's Quad's job? The puppy princess thing. BCBG, who apparently, as Toya outed, are going bankrupt or something like that. She was their brand rep, and I know that she's trying to launch like the cookery book and the cookery program, and that actually looked quite good. But you know, Married to Medicine is probably discernible, real income for her. But she would stand to gain. I know this sounds really cynical, but if I feel like she would stand to gain a lot by now divorcing Dr. G and being, you know, Quad. She's out there. She's 36. She's cool. She's got dough. It looks to me like that's what she wanted.
True
It
that.
really, really does. Because
Yeah.
I don't, you know, if for those who have watched the series from day dot, you'll remember that Dr. G, as he actually did say in one of the episodes, he just wants a family, right? This man is 50. 50.
Yeah, not getting
Right.
any younger. Yeah.
Seriously. So you married a young thing, right? Because she's only 36 now. So there's a
Right.
14-year age gap. You married a young thing. So there's going to be that expectation. And rightly or wrongly, this is no judgment to any party in it, but there wasn't the expectation that she would work. And it was that she would be a stay-at-home
housewife,
right?
yeah.
A stay-at-home wife, whether that's right or whether that's wrong. And if she was blind to what Dr. G was trying to cultivate, which is I want to have a family, right? So I'm going to marry this girl. She's of a certain year, like she's young. I'm making cheddar, so this woman doesn't really have to go out to work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind her being in the home. What do you think she's going to be in the home doing? Brushing her hair all the time, brushing her many wigs? No. You're going to be thinking she's going to have babies. She's going to be raising the children. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that this is what the man is really saying he wants. Now, if you don't want that, I don't understand how these two didn't even discuss this. Because if you don't want that, you should be out.
Yeah.
What was the delay? So it's all right talking about, it's all right Quad talking about now, oh, she will never bring a child into this situation, the way things are, you know, things are so gra between them, this and that. But when you think about it, before the problems, before, Nko, what happens? Year one.
But that's why I'm like, with the both of them, I'm like, did none of you lot discuss
Talk
this
about this.
from the
But
get-go?
Dr. G did.
But
He
like,
always said you could see him at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is only the beginning of the series. This is not the beginning of their marriage.
Yeah.
So from 4
but that's
years
what I'm saying.
back.
At the beginning of their marriage, like, was this ever a thing that was discussed? Because I would have thought that would be the main thing you would
I
discuss.
think it
like,
was.
I want from this marriage X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I think it was, because when it was discussed in the very early days of the series, it didn't, and I know, you know, it's reality TV, it's perception, and it's only what we're seeing, but the way it came up, it didn't appear to be raised as a all of a sudden conversation. It was part of the narrative of their relationship. So I'm like, so this dude is always, and those days, then you were telling him, oh, you want to get your own career popping, you want to do this, you want to do puppy princess, you want to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, you've done that. Now it's a bit rocky. Oh, now we're not going to have because of this. The guy's 50. There's a part of me that, let it be one of my brother's wives. I will be finished with them. And that's me. I don't even have children. But if that, and I'm seeing this play out, and you're in family, sitting down, married. What?
Yeah, because it's interesting to me. It's like, you've been together for what? I think she said 14 years, close to that. And it's taken you up until this point to decide whether or not you want to have kids.
When he really, that's what I'm saying. Dr. G's narrative has always been that. So whether he's a good husband or not a good husband, whether he's you married him, you knew what he wanted. I don't feel like he's really made a secret about that. So
yeah, so it's like, did you decide at the beginning, actually, if we wait like maybe 12 years, like, I can't see a man who says, I want kids, waiting 12 years to do so, because I'm sure back then
he wouldn't have got married. Trust
I'm
me.
sure he probably had his pick of the little
That's what
women.
I'm saying.
You know,
So
that
you're not
going to
get married
yeah,
to start
sure,
sitting
let's
down.
get married,
No.
and I'll pop one out tomorrow if you want to.
Why are you gonna start? You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Your eye is, this is the woman that I want to have as my wife. I want to have a family with her. That's else he would have just been out. Like, was he getting married for? Did he sound like he was suffering for women? That's what I'm saying.
The only thing I would say that really peed me off about Dr. G is that when he was giving his explanation about the woman that he took to the hotel, and was she obviously trying to exploit him afterwards, he was like, yeah, but I didn't actually do it. I didn't do it. And he was kind of missing the point of the fact that you actually entertained it. Do you know what I'm saying?
But you know what the problem is? Should I tell you what the problem is? The reason why, part of the reason I believe he was speaking like that, and again, I'm definitely not justifying it. I'm just telling you what it looks like as a observer.
Yeah.
The respect is gone out of that relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's why he's even.
But this is my thing. It's like if you felt so strongly about having kids and you knew that she wasn't going to prepare to give them to you, or you had an inkling, then you just leave.
But I don't think he did leave. I don't think he did have an inkling. That's what I'm saying. All through, she's saying it's this thing. I want to get this thing.
Yeah.
I want to do this. We're not in the right. And now we're in problems. It's that because this series is the one that's
I kind of think that he kind of did know what was kind of just, you know, when some people just long it out.
How are you gonna know that's your wife?
It's just, you can, like, people know a lot of things that they don't readily want to admit to. They're just happy to just batter on until eventually they just do something so ridiculous, like going to a hotel with some random stranger. Now you've put yourself in the position to be exploited, and it probably hit. I don't think that he slept with her. I do believe that he probably had a come to Jesus moment and was like, I shouldn't actually be here. Let me go. However, I think Quad is probably quite happy that this has happened because it's now she's very good at playing the victim. Now she can definitely
That's what I'm
play
saying.
the victim, like, yes, look what he did to me,
And look from
blah
how
blah
long
blah
she's
blah
been
blah.
dragging out the Mariah argument.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
tired.
Oh, you don't understand. She hurt me to my core. She's gonna do them same said dead speeches about Dr. Gina, and he knows it as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like you. Like, they should just need to call it a day.
Yeah.
Stick a fork in it.
Because I just, you know, when they kind of like argue, the back and forth is. I've been to that place where it's just like you're not even. Like, I can see each other's point of view, but I can see that they don't see each other's point of view, and there's gonna have to be an extreme change of will.
Yeah. Because I agree. I do
for them
think
to get back together.
Greg is very materialistic, and I can see him not appreciating the things that she does for him. And at the same time, Quad is very like, she's exhausting, and I can see her like probably saying to him, "Oh yeah, we're not quite ready for kids," and blah blah, and just longing it out until like 14 years later. Oh my God, we actually don't have any children, as you rightly said. He's 50. Like, I can see them both doing what they both accuse each other of. So if that be the case, then you lot just need to leave each other, you know?
Because it's going to get to a point where they're going to have crossed so many lines with each other. Like the hotel room, that's a line.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to start getting destructive.
And he wanted brownie points. You don't get brownie points.
No, you don't get
for
brownie
that.
points
You
for
get
that.
nothing for that, idiot. About, you know, she's going to blackmail me with the receipt that she pushed under the door. You get your receipt when you check out the hotel.
But you know what? I saw in the Shade Room, they was kind of like talking about it, and it seems like she came forward and she said exactly the same thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that it was kind of like,
So
he didn't do
I wonder if
anything.
this was a motel as opposed to a hotel.
Yeah, probably it was a
Seems quite
motel.
seedy.
Probably a motel. Maybe because he might have thought, you know what, I'm quite well known from the TV program, so let me not go somewhere flames.
Oh, mate. Nasty.
Motel.
No wonder you ran out of there and changed your mind, innit? Probably saw a cockroach on the floor. Thought,
stains
I don't want no
on the
parts of
mattress.
this. And shouts out to Dr. Heavenly, because I don't like you.
Stand her.
But when you drew on Mariah's thing, I was cracking up, because I'm like, Mariah,
I hated it.
why did you bring that big old size
Tell her
picture
to bring
of
it. It's
yourself?
like this. It's like this. Let her mark her territory.
But the thing is,
like good.
I'm like, knowing how childish and how bitchy some of those women are, it's like you're setting yourself up. And I knew the minute they showed them putting it up on the door, I knew something was going to happen to that picture. And then I think she went over the top with, oh, you know, do I need to protect my jewelry and things? I'm like, that, stop being stupid.
That was too much.
Yeah, so I actually started laughing at that, and I just thought she was ridiculous.
Too much.
And I have to shout out Dr. Simone, because the speech that she gave about her refusing to stay in a relationship where she feels like she's not loved. I'm so glad she said it on that platform, because there are so many women that stay in shitty relationships just because, and I don't even think she realized how much she empowered herself in that moment. And of course, I'm pretty sure she probably still loves her husband, but she's like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. I need to go. I'm not staying here because of my kids. I'm not staying here because it hurts your feelings. I need to do what is right for me. And I always say this, sometimes it's okay to be selfish. Sometimes it's okay to be about yourself, because it's not good to have yourself in situations.
I learn me some me.
Right. It's okay. It's not okay to be in a situation that you're feeling that you're undervalued, not loved, not appreciated, none of them things, because those things can kill your spirit. It's like, no, we're all individuals. As much as we're together, I'm an individual, I'm a person. I need to live on this earth and be happy with me. And if I can't do that with you in my life, then I need to let you go. And she said that on this platform here, and I hope there are women out there that hear that and who are in very similar situations and can find the strength to get up and go and fuck what everybody else thinks.
If that's what they want to do. The thing is, I don't understand about Cecil. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
She wants to just feel, you after 21 years together, you haven't learnt your wife's love language.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Just she was like, I'm done, I'm out. And I was like, you know what, good for you, Simone. Good for you.
After 21 years, you what are you doing? You're married to a stone or what? You're married to a rock. He doesn't want to give you any love. What?
Just there. I don't want Jackie and what's his face to get back together.
I don't like his face.
I don't like him. I don't think he's very humble.
No, I think he's got a sense of entitlement.
Yeah, he does. And I think he was just expecting Jackie to just let him back in anyway. So
Yep.
I think he could have just done with a little while longer out there in the wilderness.
Yeah, completely agree with you. With his big old tall self, you're walking around with mistress, not expecting to get caught.
Like
your face.
Look at you.
You know what I'm saying?
Dr. Jackie, an accomplished woman like she, keeping herself,
these
looking tight and right, and you have the bare-faced
cheek out there. In Hotlanta.
I'm telling you.
Oh, mate. Anyway.
Okay, end with that. So let's wrap it up with Real Housewives of Atlanta. I am so looking forward to this reunion.
I'm looking forward. Are we near the reunion though?
Yes.
Are we?
I think it might be coming up. Maybe Ace. Well, you know.
What's that for? What?
For the Real Housewives. Are we near the reunion?
The reunion. I think it might be next week or the week after.
Oh, that'll be good.
It's coming up. Kim is about to get dragged by her synthetic.
But you know what?
I'm done with her and her rank daughter.
Oh yeah, that was
so
bad.
over them two. Get off the show.
That was bad.
You are trash.
They know what Kim's about. Like, they know what Kim's about.
Yeah,
like,
we know what
nobody
Kim's
should
about.
be surprised about Kim's behavior.
She just lies on top of lies on
She's
top of
like
lies.
that. She's messy.
And then you've taught your daughter to behave in the same way. How dare you come to a grown woman's house talking about there's roaches in it?
But you know what? Can I just say something? And this is,
in
again,
big people business.
A lot of the time when I'm saying these things, is not to protect or like to stick up for where we know wrong is wrong, and that is wrong. But you see, if Nene had gone to Kim's house, Nene Seth had gone to Kim's house, if Nene had been in Chateau Charay, if Nene had been in Kenya's castle, if Nene had even followed Portia at the time that she wanted to be down on Portia and had seen any kind of bug in that bathroom, whether she filmed it or not, people would have known, Sha. She would have told them, Sha. She would have. She would have. In one argument, she would have blasted their lives.
But you know, I find really odd, and this is what annoyed me about Kim. Kim has actually saved video footage and little things and instances of like when Nene parked in a disabled
She's
space.
messy.
And you
She's
saved
messy,
them
but
on your
she's
phone.
been messy. That's the thing.
You say, all right, you need to go now because this is too much. And I'm sure Nene probably, because you know them two go back. I'm sure Nene has got bare dirt on Kim. So to Nene's credit, if she wanted to be an actual bitch, she could have been, and she hasn't done that.
Yeah.
She's just addressed the mess that Kim has actually done to her. So for that matter, I have to respect Nene for that, because we know Nene's got a big mouth and can just when she's
although
ready.
she did air her out at, you know, all the old, when Kim used to be on the show before, like seasons and seasons back. And then she said to her, you know, close your legs to married men and all that. So she did her digs. Like they have a messy history. This is what I'm saying. Nene should not be surprised by anything Kim does to her. They're not friends. You've been through too much. You might then hug at one party and be like, oh, we go back so far. You guys aren't friends.
They hate each other.
Yeah.
And I think as well, this is what's annoying me
I think there's genuine contempt between
Kim.
them.
If I was Kim and I saw Brielle getting caught, I'd be like, no. Let me deal with Nene. You don't need to get.
But I think those are the boundaries that certain cultures just don't really.
This must be it, and I think that's one of the things. I think when Candy was trying to talk to her, this is what she's trying to say, because she was saying, no, my daughter, she's a feisty one when she's ready, but I couldn't have her mix up. Can you imagine just having your child just involved in it like that? And as it is, she already treats her daughter like the two of them is size. So I can see why Brielle thinks it's okay.
That's the problem,
right? And when
it's not just a today thing,
right? So when Nene was speaking to her son about how the hell did Brielle get into the house anyway, it turns out that Brielle called Brent, Nene's son, and said, oh, I'm in the area. She's like, oh, he was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's so he says.
Yeah, whatever. And he was like, well, if you want to come innit?
Come through, yeah.
And I believe him, because it sounds like something young boys like, all right, if you're here, come innit? Just come to it. And then she came. And then my head, I can't get my head around that.
Yeah, I get you.
It's just weird to me. And the thing, it wasn't even a roach. It was like some random.
It looked like a roach.
One bug.
Nah, I'm sure there was a little one there as well. Anyway, yeah, it's all very distasteful. You're right.
But I saw because the people write up about the reunion, because it's already been pre-recorded and everything.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, apparently they gave it to her. Like Marlo gave it to her. Kenya bodied her.
Kenya even came in for some kicks.
Kenya bodied her. Nene bodied her. And I think, who's the next person? Candy apparently was like neutral.
I don't like Candy.
Who's the person I'm missing?
Sheree.
No, Sheree's like team Kim.
Portia.
No, who am I missing?
Portia's friend? Shamia?
Portia, Cynthia, Shamia.
Eva?
No, not Eva. Who else?
There's no one else.
So Kenya.
Go through it. Go through the characters. There's Kenya,
Nene, Marlo, Sheree, Cynthia.
That's it.
Eva. They said it was 4 people that actually got right in a.
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah, and gave it to her. So yeah, so there were tweets from.
I think some people also have to answer how they've been treating Portia this year.
Did that get addressed? I can't remember, but I think the main issue. Actually, Nene spoke to her about that in this episode.
I saw that. But I just feel like for someone like Marlo, for instance, why are you bringing up Candy or Candy's issue when you and Candy aren't even friends? Miss me with that.
She does that all the time with everyone.
Cynthia saying, oh, I just want to know if someone here's my boyfriend is dating someone else. And then Portia says, well, I heard. And then you come with, well, it's just like saying when you heard someone say Candy. Why are you bringing that up? Nene, even, that never historically didn't even get on with Candy. Their relationship has always been quite fractious. All of a sudden, you deserve some discipline for... Like, you lot pick your own battles, but this is why I don't like Candy. Because you just sat there letting Portia take these body blows, because the truth is, Candy, you're a pussy. Yeah, I said it. You're a pussy. You talk behind your hand, you laugh. That's why you let your mum go hard sometimes, because you let your mum do bidding for you and you don't rein her in. I can't stand, like, I've really taken against Candy for that. The way that she's handled this. You can be pissed off at Portia. I'm not saying don't be pissed off at Portia. You can be pissed off at her. You should be pissed off at her. You can outright say direct things to her. But when Portia comes to you and says, sorry, don't wait until you're one-on-ones on cameras to be all this, I don't fuck with her. I don't fuck. Just tell her then, you know what, Portia, I'm not ready for your apology. I don't fuck with you. What you did was a fuckery.
Yeah.
Full stop. Keep it moving. Don't have her around, but be rolling your eyes. We see all that bullshit. I'm not in it. If you come to me and then you're like, oh yeah, we're cool, and then we're in a group of 5, and then you're slightly shading me on the side, I'm going to have mad beef with you. You see with that little running, I don't like people trying to do pantomime for crowds with me as the central character.
No,
I beg.
Same.
I beg. Not that one. I'm not ready. My personality is not set up like that. So I don't like Candy for that. I don't like her for that. I watched it and it made me feel
I agree with that. I don't
like
think
her.
it's down to Candy to stop how the other girls respond
No,
to her.
I just think she should just be like, why you not keep bringing up my argument for? Because she said herself she doesn't like hearing about it. So when they're all bringing it up, it's not like they're her mates. It's not like if I'm rolling with, say, Carla, and then someone does something or someone says something and then she gets in their ass because me and her's like tight like that. It's not even like that. It's just some rando bringing up some argument because they want to dog on Portia, but not really out of love for Candy. So to me, I'm just like, if that was me, I would just be like, yeah, but stop using my argument to do it. Use your own argument. Don't keep bringing it up, because if it's that distasteful,
that's Candy just being petty though.
That's what I'm saying.
She wants her to
She
get
does.
it.
That's what I'm saying,
And
that's
in a
what
way,
I find
would.
distasteful.
If it was me, I wouldn't care either.
Would
if
you?
If I was in my feelings about what she did, and I would be if somebody did that to me.
But would you let some random
However,
person...
what I wouldn't do is be like sniggering and laughing and kicking and doing what you said she was doing in the confessionals. If I've got anything to say to Portia, I would just say it to her face. But if other people are cussing her off because of something that she done, I'm not getting it. That's to me, that is your penance that you need to pay in order to I don't know, that's your penance that you need to pay for your role that you played in this. However, because I can't control what people say.
I get you, but I would see the disingenuity of people bringing up my beef for their personal gain. And if I'm not really cool with those people that keep bringing up my beef, I'd actually have to say to them, you see, when you're arguing with her, leave my name out of it, because that's how the thing would even grate me so much. I don't want to hear you lot talking about it, especially if you're not my dude, if you're not my girl. Why are you bringing it up as if that's something that's really paining you and you and I don't even get down like that? Like, it would irritate me to hear people bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. But so that's why I sort of count it as a negative. I get what you mean, like the penance part of it. Yeah, do her, get her, I don't care because I'm pissed off with her. But then there's me personally thinking, but why is my argument even in your mouth? Like, leave it. Bring up your own argument.
I would, if I was Portia, would be my argument.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, definitely.
So if I was Portia, I would say that.
Yeah.
But if Candy doesn't say that, I don't really blame her.
No, yeah, I think that, and that's where you and I, that's the only point that we diverge. I do blame her, because if they're not your friends, like, they're almost this kind of like a mug to you as well. They're not doing it out of love for you, Candy. They're not doing it because, so when they're saying, after what they don't care about you. Nini's never cared about you. Do you understand what I mean? So in that sense, I'd kind of be like, Nini, like, allow it. Don't bring up my argument. Like, have your own separate argument in it. I'll sit there and rub my hands for you lot's arguments. Don't try and make it mine.
I'll be like, my costume.
Yeah.
That'd be me.
I get you. I get you.
Portia, she gets away with a lot simply because, she's supposed to be the ditzy person. And it irritates me when people do things like what we were saying about Ant, about the fact that, he's 42 and that, people kind of see him as this Jack the lad.
No, I get you, but I don't think she gets away with that much.
When people kind of attribute that behavior to grown adults. It's like, no, she's not a stupid girl. She's very
on that
bright,
one
very
thing,
articulate.
she's wrong.
So I'm just like, she has to
hold it.
Yeah, she has like an adult would.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I get it. And you know what the thing is? She is. But I just don't think that people around her are being adult in terms of dealing
with it. None of them like each other.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is dog eat dog then, like, because last season I had to get it. This is your season to get it.
Yeah.
And that is the petty in me. I might feel differently in the next couple of months, but right now, I'm not saying anything. I'm just gonna watch this play out.
Yeah, I think I get you. I think that's probably why it's best that I've never been on a reality TV program because, you know, editing aside, there'll be some situations where I'd be doing a B Money. Did you see B Money on the Backchat?
Oh, you finally watched it?
Where, and I just thought it was actually really real of him to say.
I had to give him his props actually when he stood up for Nunu.
As much as I don't like Nunu, you lot are ragtagging on her.
Yeah.
And I think that is the stance that I would genuinely take in a situation where, even if it's about somebody that I don't like or a situation that I don't like, I can perceive bullying, and I'm always going to say that's bullying.
Funny about that?
Don't try and dress up bullying.
See how that kind of differs, simply because in Nunu's situation, she wasn't in the wrong at all.
No, I get that.
Portia
was.
No,
I get that.
You see what I'm saying?
I completely get you.
As well, I have to rate Nunu for holding her corner twice, because if you remember both reunions, she got cussed out in all of them, and she came back to this one.
Yeah.
And, you know,
that's why
I rate her. I'm just like, she says some problematic things.
She does.
But I do rate her.
She does. But can I just say again, probably on mic, because I don't think I said it on mic before. Do you know who I didn't rate?
Who?
Ramel. Yeah, I didn't think she handled.
Do you know what I was about to say? Which character is that?
I don't think she handled. You know, and much love to her. Obviously, I love most of all the other moves that she makes, but nah, maybe just don't do that role again, because I don't see impartiality, and that gets me, because this is basically why I probably take this stance with Portia as well. But I didn't see impartiality, and also it was just a bit, all the question, it was a bit rubbish, to be honest. But I don't think it's her fault. I think it's the material that she's given.
Right.
But I would just
I
don't think it's in keeping with the excellence generally of her brand. To be diplomatic.
Oh dear, poor Ramel. She got a lot of heat online because of it. I was reading the comments from the back chatters.
Yeah, I mean, you should, but some of it is repetitive heat from the last one. So you got to come back and realise what your position's got to be vis-a-vis all of these people and their positions, because they're the characters on it. You're just the host come in, so you got to show some impartiality.
Yeah.
Even if you're being fed, even if behind scenes you're being told, "I'll do it this way," you're like, just people always need to remember, when you're the front face of some stuff, man, you just got to be careful. Because it's going to be the blocks. Somebody told me once in a case I was doing in 2008. It's a very serious lesson to learn. The buck stops with you. I had a junior who was atrocious in a case, and they were supposed to be my junior.
Yeah.
And I was just sat one day with my head in my hands at a completely different court centre, because I had to go and do a hearing in another case. And then I happened to tell a barrister who I know, who came up to me and just said, "What's wrong?" I happened to tell him what was going on in my case, the first ever case that I led in. And he looked at me, Cheryl, and he said, "Cheryl, you're leading. The buck stops with you.
Yeah.
It's not about, you got..." And so he basically gave me some advice of getting rid of the junior, which I did. But it was just that part of the advice, the bucks. So sometimes when you're front and centre, doesn't matter what people in the back are telling you, "Oh, do this, ask this question."
Yeah.
You know what people are going to be saying. You know that you've got a brand. You know that what your role is in this. Like, you got to keep it.
Once you leave there, people
right?
are looking at you sideways. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, I kind of, I'm not invested. I'm not necessarily invested in the program, and obviously we do this reality rundown, so we kind of like watch this stuff and know that we're going to talk about it. But obviously, because I know her to a certain extent and I've seen bits that she's done, I expected a lot more. So when I saw it, I was, dare I say, disappointed.
Yeah.
And kind of rolling my eyes somewhat.
Oh, Ramel.
Yeah.
We love you, baby girl. We know you can do better than that. I don't know what went on.
Yeah.
Actually, we should get Ramel here to like
we
maybe
should,
just like talk about it. And just be like, what happened, blood?
Like, for real. For real.
Do you know what I mean? I'm sure she's been asked a million questions about it, so it'd be interesting to get her perspective on everything.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she's had the chance to actually explain away maybe season was it season 2?
Where they would just seem to be proper biased.
And then Esther about, I'm not coming. Of course you're coming. Anyway, less said about that, the better.
Because I don't even really care.
I ain't got the energy. Okay.
They're not in my age bracket or my wage bracket.
So next week we'll probably talk about Love and Hip Hop New York, because that started now.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Is there anybody of worth that's in it that I should say? Not Love and Hip Hop New York, Love and Hip Hop
Atlanta. Right.
Kirk's still a dickhead. Rashida's still gorgeous, and
I hope she gets rid of him.
Yeah, he needs to go. He needs to go.
I hate his head shape.
Erica Mena's in it. Stevie J is still a pimp, or acting pimp like.
Acting pimp like.
What's her name? Still a lesbian.
Mimi's got another girlfriend, isn't she? But not the same lady from last time.
No, basketball girl. And that is about all that's worthy of remembering.
Okay, so next week we'll do a reality rundown with
a lot.
LHH ATL.
Yeah. So let's wrap up the show. We've got Shady Corner versus You Are the Light. Where do I start? There's been a lot of nonsense that's gone on this week. So let's start with DJ Envy. Did you watch DJ Envy?
Beige Rage. That was funny.
Oh my God, I've had the biggest laugh I've ever had in a hot minute.
Hilarious.
Do you know why?
They ripped him.
People were saying so much in regards to this story. For those of you that don't know, DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club, the actual DJ on there, got very upset with 2 guests that they invited onto the show called Deezus and Mero. Deezus and Mero are 2 social media commentators. They just speak about anything and everything. They have their own show on YouTube, and they were watching DJ and his wife, and I believe her name is Gia, speaking about, he's very. So
they went on a chat show.
Yeah.
To talk about the fact that he had been caught out there cheating on his wife.
With Erica Mena from Love and Hip Hop,
right.
For those that don't know.
So that was that private situation then became a public situation. And obviously it's all being done in the name of PR. Right. Okay, so them going on there. So now these 2, Deezus and what's his name? Mero. Now, you see, the only thing that they said, which is shady, but it's funny and it's bants and it's all those things that happen on the Breakfast Club, mind you.
Right. We can get into this in a hot minute. I've got so much to say.
When they were talking about Envy and the whole scenario, so they were ripping on that in the first place, and then they were ripping on the fact that the wife didn't leave, she stayed, and something. She know those Envy checks though, like insinuating but joking that she stayed around because Envy's about that dough life. He's making money, so she's not gonna walk. And that's a common thing thrown at women who are cheated on by people who are in the public eye, whose money's quite long, and then the women choose to stay. It's like, they ain't going anywhere. They're like whatever. Yeah. But in the same token, some people might say, oh, it's because they have children. It's not very easy to just walk out, and they've been together for a long time. It's not very easy to walk out. Lars looking at me like, girl. So anyway, that was the comment. That's jokes. Right. That's ha. That's he. That's in the nature of.
That's all of like 4 words in the comment. That was all that was said. Nothing else.
So now they go up into the Breakfast Club studio for an interview. And the thing is, they said when talking about their interview afterwards that they didn't understand why Envy hadn't come up to them beforehand in 2 ways. So they didn't understand why he just wasn't around in the kind of pre-interview kind of, mush, whatever. But he also didn't come up to them to say what he chose to say after he introduced them as pussy and dickheads. The 2 guests, we have 2 guests in the studio, pussy and dickheads. And it's like he just went into a beige rage, as they called it.
Like stuttering a little bit as well. That's how angry he was. That is how my man couldn't even get his. Normally when he presents, yo, this is the Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
DJ
yeah,
Envy,
yeah.
Angela Yee, and Charlamagne, whatever order.
And we got a
it-
special
he
guest
says
in
it
the
out
building.
smoothly, but he
Yeah.
was actually stuttering. It's like he couldn't wait to say his piece, like, and there wasn't even much to say. And they were like, bruv, what's the problem? Well, let's just roll the tape. Let's roll the tape. So you hear the comment again, and they're looking at him like, what again?
Okay.
What is the problem? Do you know what I mean? My wife's been with me since I was 15 years old. She was making more money than me than I was.
But you shouldn't have cheated on her then, should you?
Thank you. So all of these things that he was just
Oh my
wheeling off. It's like, if you knew all of that, why did you then take your dingaling and stick it in and next somebody down the road?
When they
Why
showed
did you
the
do that?
messages as well.
Right.
The
It was
messages,
messy to the point
messy
where
as
my man had
hell.
to get on his own radio show, call up his wife and apologize for him doing what he did to her.
Messy
Now,
as hell.
people are like, oh, he's angry because of blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you why this man is angry. And this is why a lot of men who kind of come around to the fact that, oh, what I did was really, really, a shambles, especially when you do it so publicly. Yeah. That's called guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's trying to do, he's trying to make up for the fact that he publicly embarrassed his wife to the world. Yeah.
Thank you.
So any little kind of comment that he deems derogatory, that he's gonna have a problem with that, because no. She's already been shamed enough by me. So now I need to make up for that by making a public display of myself.
Right?
By cussing you lot out
being
for
like
saying something
oversensitive.
that is probably true anyway. And so what if she did stay with me for she's supposed to. Yeah.
It is, you're absolutely right. It's almost trying to relieve some of his own burden of guilt through some other kind of misplaced anger. And
you're trying to make yourself look like you're the bad man out here when really you look like a dickhead because we know what you did.
That's the thing. And the thing is, it's kind of made more so obvious because of the comment that they made wasn't really, it's the obvious comment. It's baseline comedy. It's really like low grade. It wasn't kind of to the core of really her. It's like, it's that familiar thing. Oh, she stayed for the money because he's a rich, like, it didn't really have, it's not like they pinned it to something. Do you know what I mean? So that one would say, oh my God, they really went in hard on her, or oh my God, that's so unfair. It's a throwaway, cheap comment.
It was all of four
That's
words.
what I'm saying.
That was it.
Yeah.
So Charlamagne, DJ Envy, keep your guilt to yourself. We didn't ask for that. We didn't want it.
We don't need
We
it.
don't need it.
You need to calm that beige rage down.
Let's talk about you defending your wife who's a woman, yeah. But you really didn't enjoy kind of seeing her in any way being spoken about in such a disparaging way. Let's talk about all the other female guests that have come on your show.
Thank
that might
you.
Be somebody else's partner. That might be somebody else's wife. That might be somebody else's girlfriend, mum, sister, who you have sat there.
Ace, have we got some DJ clue bombs for what Ace is, for what Laura is saying right now?
Keyed up. I don't understand what
Tell
you
them.
are saying.
Thank
Amara
you.
La Negra.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank
I don't
you.
understand you. Who have we got? Nicki Minaj.
Little Mama
sitting there crying her eyes out. I don't understand any of this. K Michelle.
But it's okay to talk.
The list is endless.
Right? It's okay to talk shit about those women in their face, behind their backs. Monique, online, on your platform.
Because you're not hot right now, Monique.
But the
maybe
moment,
your wife ain't hot. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
But the moment someone says one cheap throwaway line about your wife, then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. You're walking out of the studio. There's a rageometer with your face
I forgot about
shaking.
him walking out as
He
well.
walked out, fam.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, the man has left his own interview.
Oh, DJ Envy, you can go
So
straight
stupid.
to Shady
The thing
Corner.
is, if he really felt that way, there were so many different ways that he could have handled that interview. In fact, he could have done what he did with all the women on that show and just showed them no kind of respect throughout the interview and just played it out like these boys oh shit or whatever.
Yeah.
You could have discredited them in so many different ways, but you left.
Yeah, but I think their humor would have their biting heart sarcasm and wit type humor would have got the better of him. I don't think he would have been able to stand it. So that's all he really could do, like this big machismo show of anger and walk out. Because if he tried to shade them, they would have shaded the fuck out of him.
Charlamagne ain't done with you either, because you actually defended this nonsense, and I'm disappointed in you. Because had you seen what's the guy that he doesn't like on the Hot 97? What's his name? Ace,
Master
help me out.
Flex.
No. Yeah, no, the other one, the good-looking one, light-skinned one, does Ebro. Had Ebro done an Envy and walked out of that studio,
that would have been.
That would have been it. Donkey of the day. They'd have been laughing, cackling, blah blah blah, and you're laughing up and down the place. And I'm like, no. This is a donkey of the day moment. You know it is, Charlamagne. I don't even know why. I know he's your friend, but I don't know why you're trying to defend this nonsense. It's like it's weird to me how, like, when Kevin Hart was on his show, Charlamagne was like trying to defend all kinds of nonsense about Kevin cheating on his wife. It's like, how comes you've got all the energy in the world to defend adultery, but do
you remember what we were saying on Dane's show? Keep that same energy, bruh. Keep that same energy.
But you're like, oh, it's not his fault.
Oh, please.
Oh,
all right, let's bang him in Shady Corner anyway. Both of them can go in there. Twins.
He's a nice guy. Oh, DJ Envy is my friend. He doesn't really mean it. Oh, but Monique's like, can someone just pay me my money, please? You don't get the day. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Both of them are in there.
Both of you can go in there. Flipping keep that same energy up.
Keep that same energy.
But anyway, so Shady Corner, I have to give shade to these universities up and down this country, because the levels, the amount of stories that have come out about different top-notch universities in this country in regards to racism and the way that they are handling it.
Or not handling it.
Is disgusting. Nottingham Trent University, you lot are disgusting. You've got Rafaro Chizango, I believe, who released some footage of people chanting outside of her door,
We hate the blacks.
We hate the blacks, and a stream of other racist abuse. You've also got Warwick University. Her name is Farah Maid Roti, I think I know that, but I've butchered that surname. I do apologize. But basically, she was getting words like monkey and nigger, and having racist things written on the skins of bananas, and it was left outside of her student hall in the kitchen. There's another school in Bath where a group of young white kids were
reenacting the slave auction.
Reenacting this, and I'm just like,
whipping the boy.
Is this 1880 that we're in, or are we in 2018? I don't.
You know what's
happening?
You know what's happening. People are showing their true colours. So all I got to say about that, in the words of Childish Gambino, stay woke. That's it. Stay woke. So all these people, you see, you're gonna find out now who people really are. Stay woke, and like you said, these universities, these schools, in that Bath situation, the head teacher decided to expel the students. The board of governors overturned it, and people were saying that's never happened before. It's happening now because people are showing where their party lines are. Right. So that's why I'm not being facetious when I say it. Stay woke, because you're going to see what side of the line people stand on, and then you can make your decisions about them.
Just unbelievable. And it's what makes me laugh is Katie Hopkins has reared her head again. I'm starting to think that she's been blackballed from the industry in the UK. So I've noticed that, you know, the platforms like Good Morning, all the good, like This Morning and Good Morning Britain, and all of those shows you invite her on all the time. They don't do it anymore. I think the tide has turned against her a little bit, and she's gone so extreme now. And also as well, she lost that case against this woman who I think had
the case that went to the High Court.
And she lost that, and I think they've just dropped her now, because now she's doing.
But they've already created the animal, so
yeah.
they've done their
yeah,
best.
'cause she's like doing stories in South Africa and she's in this country, that country, blah blah blah. So she's trying to put herself out there, but she's trying to do it in a way where she's trying to be more far right, trying to get the platforms, those kind of platforms, to put her on. So I don't think mainstream want to mess with her anymore because she's just gone too far. She's not, oh, Katie, she just says some really quirky things every now and then. Now it's like, yeah, she's an out and out racist and we can't have her on our show now. But as you said, Cheryl, she created the beast. But anyway, she posted about the story about Rufaro, and she compared it to another story about a young Moroccan girl who I believe was beaten up by a group
Egyptian.
by a group of black girls. And she was like, see, look, why isn't the story about this and blah blah blah. So I tweeted her back and I'm like, if you were so concerned about either one of these young women, why don't you use the same energy to make sure that both of these young ladies get justice, rather than trying to separate the stories and saying that, well,
And pit people against each other.
Because the reality is neither one of them have justice. Rufaro is being expelled from school, and this young lady is probably in the hospital because she was beaten up. Nobody's out here saying, oh yeah, well done to the black girls that beat up that young lady. Nobody's doing that, but yet you want to say this story deserves more credit than this one, simply because this girl's got lighter skin than the next one, rather than saying, oh, both of these girls actually need our help. Why don't I use my platform to do that?
It's not what she's about, and that's the reason why is to say, even if the media over here have dropped her now, she's a nasty piece of work. And just in keeping with, it might sound a bit left where I'm coming from, but in keeping with things like the Lammy Review telling us stuff we already knew. This recent study that I was reading about in America, where they found that even if you have wealth in black families, because of other societal disparities, it will be lost sooner through generations, rather than white who are able to build on it and expand upon it. In tell us stuff we don't know news. We knew Katie, whatever her name is a bag of shit. We knew that she was a nasty piece of work. We know this about the criminal justice system. We know this about the bias within the police force. We know these things. What are we gonna do about it now? Because all I keep reading are like liberal left stories of people catching up with stuff that we've been knowing
and been telling
you. So you might have dropped Katie Hutchins? Hopkins. You might have dropped her, but are you redressing anything? Are you no. Do you have someone who's polar opposite to her? Are you speaking out? Are now the presenters speaking out about, actually, this is what we think of some of the things that she said? No, you're just mute. You're just moving on to your next story. One. It's like it's
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous to me.
So yeah. So anyway, so all of you universities, you all need to fix up, because we can't be sending our kids to learn. This is a school. This is a place of learning. Like, too much is going on in the world for you guys not to take responsibility for your adults. You are responsible for their safety. And
you know what, people just have got to start hitting people when it hurts. I think people need to start being litigious about this. People need to harness the attention that they can garner on social media and out these people and create really like bad marks against these kind of, because if this were to, for example, result in a drop in university attendees at, for instance, Nottingham Trent, that affects Nottingham Trent, because then they don't get the tuition fee money. So you need to start, we really need to start realizing, if they're not gonna learn about how they should be behaving, let's hit them where it hurts. And that's always going to be financially.
Absolutely. So that is Shady Corner. I didn't write down any of the other light. I think I missed it off the page. Is there anybody or anything you'd like to put into the light?
I can't think right now because I'm so tired.
It's been a long one.
I'm really so tired of being. I'm so tired.
You know what? Let me just put Rufaro Tizango into the light for simply doing her due diligence and just exposing what she exposed on the internet, because sometimes you need to just look out for yourself.
Oh yeah, and there was this guy who was in, it's this, what we were talking about off mic, the group chat. I think Ace and Damon talks about it on their recent podcast, but I'm not going to
that?
say their podcast name because they don't say ours. But so they were talking about this situation where there were a group of guys. I think they were trainee law students, I think,
Yeah.
and they were in a group chat and using a whole host of like racial words, derogatory slurs against women, but also like N-word, the P-word, stuff like that, talking about race wars, talking about culling numbers and all that sort of stuff. And I think somebody got wind of the group chat
Yeah.
and just posted it somewhere and outed them. And so some of them have lost their trainee contracts and stuff like that.
Wow.
I'm just like, you know what? That's where it's at. That's where we're at right now, guys. So, you know, if you cannot get over the disgusting ignorance of racism and racial language and racial abuse, maybe this is the way we need to go, just out in people's
like it's
arse.
going that way, innit?
So that guy, whoever did that outing, can go into the light for me.
You grass.
Snitch. But I'm happy about it. He's
Okay,
like,
cool.
it should be. I think we should be outing people when this, like, it's 2018. Yo,
People just need to grow up, I think.
they need
That's all
to.
it
Do you know
is.
what they need to do? They
need
need
to
to. They need to check their fragility in at the door. Because what is it? What is xenophobia or racism if it's not inherently fear plus ignorance? I beg. And on that note,
You gotta go home. Guys, if you want to follow us, you can. Like we said at the top of the show, we have a YouTube page, SoundCloud, iTunes. We're on Twitter. We've got a Twitter page as well. Tweet us as well. It is just literally at Two Girls and Mike. And what else we got? Instagram. We're everywhere, man.
We're
So just
everywhere you
Google
can
us
find
and
us.
find us. We'd love your feedback. Hopefully you guys will tune in and pass on the show next week.
Next week.
All right,
Bye.
we out. Bye.
How long